Hello, welcome to A Lift to Work in 2024.
I'm Kate.
And I'm Tina.
And Happy New Year to you all.
Yes,
listeners.
Happy New Year.
So, we are starting you off with a bang.
We certainly are. We're going to be transporting you using a land windcraft or land surfing. So that's our mode of transport for today. That's jolly exciting, isn't it?
I know, right? I mean, I am all for trying something new.
Yes.
I mean, when I said we're starting with a bang, I'm hoping that we're not going to fall off. It's all good.
No, we're going to be whizzing along. We're going to be living our best lives, actually. You'll be taking the kids to school on one of these by the end of the week.
So, Tina, what are we talking about today at the start of January?
Well, we're talking about New Year's resolutions and goal setting and trying to help everybody who's listening have a little bit of success with this, really, because in a moment, Kate will share with you that it's very common to set goals or resolutions at this time of year, but people don't always necessarily have the success that they could. So this podcast is all about how to get as much out of that as you can.
Yes. So we decided to do this because, it's a common thing, isn't it? New year, new you, and all of that. But actually, let's have a look at the numbers. So in 2023, because obviously we can't do this year because it's just arrived. So 2023, listeners, how many people do you think planned to set a New Year's resolution? Tina, what do you reckon?
I think it's a big figure because everyone says, oh, I'm going to stop. It's usually stopping something, isn't it? I'm not going to do this or I'm not going to do that. I think it's probably loads of people.
So approximately 58% of the population.
That's humongous.
30 million adults were planning on or setting a New Year's resolution. Wowzers. How many kept it?
Oh, less than half, I bet.
Yeah, much less than half. I think it was like 19%.
That's crazy, isn't it? And I bet people give up fairly quickly.
So the information that I have in front of me, January the 19th.
No.
People have given up by.
That's kind of not very long at all, is it?
But you see, the key words that I'm using there, giving up.
Yes. Yes.
So, listeners, this is where we're going to help you. If you do decide to set a New Year's resolution, a goal. So let's change the words. Let's change the words from New Year's resolution to goal, because it doesn't have to be New Year, does it? It can be any day. If you don't do it today, do it tomorrow.
Yes, and I like that kind of like what we call a reframe, because I think if I set myself a 2024 goal, that's something that could last me all year and take me a while to get like under my belt. Whereas if I have a New Year's resolution, then by the end of January, it's gone, isn't it?
Yeah. And the key is being clear on exactly what it is that you want to achieve.
Yeah. So what kind of things help us to do that then, Kate? What's good?
So we want to write down what it is that you want. Let's just say you want to lose weight. How much? Is it weight that you want to lose, or is it inches so you get a better dress size? I started with that one purely because it's one of the most common, isn't it? Oh, I'm going to lose weight this year.
Yes.
Next one, going to join the gym. How many days are you going to go to the gym? What are you going to do when you get there? Are you going to go swimming? Are you going to do a pump class? Are you going to go to are you going to go to the gym and do weights? What are you going to do when you get there? Make a decision now about what you're going to do. Because I don't know about you, I get there and I'm like, oh, I'm just going to row for an hour. No,
well,
be clear, be specific.
I read somewhere last year that the health and gym industry, all of that industry, the slimming industry, all of that industry make most of their money from people who sign up and stop going and then don't cancel their subscriptions.
Yeah.
So that's fine if you've got that money to burn and you have signed up for something. And then don't go, then I guess that's what it is. But equally, what an awful feeling to have that every time you drive past the gym, you're guilting yourself that you're not in there doing whatever you should be doing, or thought you would do at the start of the year. So actually, if you're gravitating towards being more healthy, then just go for a walk every day for a month or something like that, and then just see if that feels good. And then if you think you're going to get the most out of a gym membership, then obviously join one.
Yeah. And then, you know, another thing that we do as well is we go, oh, well, I can't go today because.
Yeah.
So we put obstacles in our way, don't we?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I've got to get the kids from school, so maybe I can't. Ooh, I haven't got time. So what can you do, listener, to make sure that you allocate enough time to do that? Or are you deliberately putting obstacles in your way so that you don't achieve it? Self-sabotage, is that what you're doing?
Yeah. And also, there's something about our brains. They're quite lazy, our brains. Kate and I talk about this on and off quite a bit. So lazy brain does just a load of stuff that just to make life easy. It does a load of shortcuts. And one of them is it finds it really hard. It likes to live in the now, in this moment. Finds it really hard to imagine a future version of yourself. So that's either a version of yourself that spends more wisely and is better at budgeting, or a version of yourself that doesn't go and meet with people that drain you and actually aren't good friends. So your resolutions or your goals could be about all sorts of things like that as well. You know, I'm not going to spend time with people that don't make me feel good about myself. Yeah. I'm not going to spend so much money on takeaway coffee because I actually want to buy a new computer. I don't know, it could be anything.
And we can reword that from a negative to a positive.
Yeah.
With coffees, let's just use the coffees as an example. I am going to save money by doing something else instead.
Yeah, I'm saving money for a computer by making my own delicious coffee and not walking into one of those coffee shops for a little while. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And it couldn't mean you couldn't treat yourself to something like that at the weekends, but it could be something you do in the weekdays, but you could still save yourself a substantial amount of money, actually.
Yeah. And, you know, let's just say you're thinking about stopping smoking, which is always another one, isn't it? Not quitting, because quitting or it's using the word giving up. These are all psychological kind of negatives, aren't they? So stopping smoking. So let's just say you smoke 8 cigarettes a day, which, by the way, are really expensive. I didn't know how much they are. I don't smoke, by the way. But so instead of smoking 8, you smoke 7.
Yeah.
And then let's say the next week you do 6. Imagine how much money you're going to be saving.
Yeah. And I've known people who have moved on from being a smoker to being a non-smoker. I don't smoke. By saying that, I don't smoke. And also imagining a future version of themselves that doesn't smoke. I just don't smoke. Used to, don't now. But also is able to imagine a future version of themselves that says, I bought all my kids' birthday and Christmas presents this year by saving the money that I would have spent on cigarettes.
Oh, well, that's nice, isn't it?
It is. So kind of like reshaping it around, you know, the spending that I do on that habit that I have that, you know, I'd like to move away from. So yeah, imagining future versions of yourself that does different stuff. And like you were saying, reshaping it. So, you know, that I'm not going to spend time with people who drain me. Is I spend most of my time with people who really energize me, or I delight in their company.
Yeah.
They make me feel good about myself. Now that would be a really nice goal to have.
Well, you're going towards something, aren't you? Something that makes you feel not necessarily happy and fuzzy inside, but it has got those positive connotations.
Yeah.
So it pulls you towards it.
Yeah.
Instead of feeling dragged.
Yeah,
away.
dragged along. And I think that's very de-energizing, and the lazy brain goes, oh, too much energy to get involved in all of that. And I had a personal goal a few years ago to cook more from scratch. And of course, I was all in, because I'm a bit like this sometimes as a person. So we're all in, all our chips are on the table. So I'm like, I'm going to cook from scratch all the time. And very quickly, I became a bit overwhelmed by that idea.
Yeah.
It's like, actually, just cook from scratch. Try, as in all the ingredients and nothing from, pre-prepared sort of thing. Just do that like once a week, and then like build up, maybe do that twice a week, and then batch cook, and then do it, so I found ways eventually to get closer to that idea.
Yeah.
But initially I needed to chunk it into smaller goals, because initially it was a big thing that, even though I'd had a busy day at work, I'd have to come home and cook from scratch. So it became a bit of an overwhelm, and my brain didn't like it, so I had to chunk it down.
And you do get people that are all or nothing, and then if the all doesn't work, they end up doing nothing. So listeners, what does any of this resonate with you? Are you that kind of person? How do you work best? And remember that when you're setting any goal or your New Year's resolution, do it in a way that suits your life and the way that you live it.
Yeah.
So there's no point saying, I'm going to go swimming every day if you haven't got a swimming pool near you.
Exactly.
Be realistic with what is attainable, because there's nothing more disheartening than going, ugh.
Yeah. And enjoy the preparation. There's two other things I would add. Enjoy the preparation and think about accountability. So enjoy the preparation is like, if you think, oh, I'm going to walk a bit more. So 10 minutes or 20 minutes, and build up. And then eventually by, 6 months in, the end of the year, I'll be walking for an hour regularly. Well, that's a nice little goal. I think like, well, where am I going to walk to? I might walk down there. I like that view, or like get new trainers. And when you go to get them in the sale and you think, oh, actually the purple ones are jazzy, get them. If the thought of putting them on your little feet and looking at them makes you happy, then go for that. Enjoy the preparation a little bit when you're thinking about it. Get a bit excited about it, because I think the problem with resolutions is we kind of feel very about them and obliged. Yeah.
And actually, remember who you're doing it for. Because this is about you. It's not anybody else. It's got nothing to do with anybody else. If you don't want to tell anyone what you've decided to not or to do, don't tell them. And I know some people may, especially when it comes to gyms and fitness and health, get quite embarrassed because they're larger than average, and don't want to get mocked. But, oh, you do go to the gym again. Yeah. Don't tell anyone. Do it for you.
Yeah. And just find a way to kind of either, to think about accountability. And what I mean by that is, someone who's going to check in, or you checking in on yourself, that did you keep these promises you made to yourself about doing things differently? Because that's kind of what goals are, really, aren't they, in a way? If you've got a good mate, you could have this kind of conversation with them. Say, I listened to Tina and Kate's podcast, and they were saying, just do things that feel good and do them in a way that's like incremental and try and enjoy them. So what I'm going to try and be doing is X over quite a long period of time. So every now and again, feel free to check in on how I'm doing on that one. If you want to share,
buddies.
Yeah, you may or may not want to share. So like you said, Kate, if you're not feeling like sharing more widely what it is until you feel like you're really in the groove, then just write it down, and write it down in a very storytelling kind of way, as if it's your future self. So you say, here I am, sitting on the beach, enjoying my cold flask of water, and I've just walked for an hour. I feel really invigorated. I'm looking down at my two new purple trainers, and they've done a bit of mileage, but we've had some good times together. I can feel the sun on my face. I can feel how I feel great in my body. You know, it feels very toned. It feels very fit. I feel very energized. My breathing is good. Whatever, you know, paint a wee picture. Where will you be? How will you feel? What can you hear? You know, people going, oh, hello, it's that lady that walks, you know, whatever. But write that down, just like half a piece of A4 paper, and just fold it up and put it somewhere and get it out every now and again and have a read and think, oh yeah, that's me. I'm on my way there.
Perfect. Well, how does that sound, everybody? Your New Year's resolutions, goal setting, doing it for you. If you change your mind about what you want to do, that's okay. Do something different. Be accountable to yourself. Have fun and enjoy it.
Yes, enjoy. And now you've arrived at your destination on your land surf, and you've just whizzed along feeling fabulous. Well, what a better start to the new year than that?
Amazing. Have a completely fabulous day, everybody.
Yeah. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye. To A Lift to Work, please subscribe, share with your friends, and follow us.
Make your comments below. So this is a quick disclaimer from us that just says that whilst we are registered practitioners, if you have listened to anything that has caused a trigger, or you feel like you need medical attention or support, please go and see your GP or other registered healthcare professional.
Absolutely, because this podcast is for educational and fun reasons. Thank you, everyone.
Lots of fun.
Bye.